Hi guys, Office Bloke Dave here.
And I am Ash.
Together we are Office Bloke Dave and I am Ash.
Yes, we are.
Or I am Ash and Ginger Pube Beard. Mum's pubes. Ginger Mum's pubes.
Yeah. Apparently we get our bra sizes confused too.
Well, I do wear your bras when you're not around, to be fair.
Is it because you miss mine?
No, I just like the support it gives me. Reminds me of you. Very supportive.
I am. Aren't I? Super supportive.
There you go. Cross-dressing in the morning.
I wear his boxers sometimes.
We don't.
we don't.
Right.
We're just talking to one of our biggest fans.
Yeah, I guess so. 21 things in the US that puzzle most foreigners.
Okay.
Now, this is a video I've seen a couple of years ago over at the Office Blokes, but we were just talking about the fact that it was on the cards a few years back to move to the States.
Yes.
And obviously didn't happen because you wanted to stay here and meet me one day.
Of course. But yes, so apparently as a Zimbabwean, I qualify for the diversity visa lotto. So you get put into the hat, obviously, and if you get drawn out, then you get the opportunity to win a green card.
Yeah.
And an ex-partner saw an opportunity and was trying to utilise that, even though I was quite happy in Manchester. But anyway.
I love that though, because it's like we need to tick some diversity boxes, so we're going to get a Zimbabwean in, and then you turn up. You look whiter than half the people in the States. Awesome.
Seriously, the number of times, like I said to you, when I moved to the UK, and people are like, "Oh, your accent's different. Where are you from?" And I'd be like, "Zimbabwe," and they either get like, "Is that in Canada? Is that in New Zealand?" Or, oh, "But you're white."
People think that the only white Africans are South Africans.
I mean, it's Southern Africa, but still, there's white Africans all over
There's albinos everywhere. They use them as medicine, don't they?
Oh my god!
Right then, so 21 things in the US that puzzle most foreigners. Is there anything you think would be on this? Something that you're aware of they do in the States, or something that might?
Well, the one thing I mentioned was like in some states, apparently, it is illegal for you to pump your own gas into your own vehicle, which baffles me.
It's crazy.
It doesn't make any sense in my head. And then like the VAT thing, like in some states it's added in the price, obviously, when you're looking around the shops, and in other places
taxes
it's at the end.
Yeah, after.
It's
confusing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway, right then, let's do it. 21 things in the US that puzzle most foreigners, like you. Let's do it.
Technically, you'd be a foreigner in America.
Well, you may have lived in the United States your whole life without realizing that something totally normal for you seems bizarre to people from other parts of the world. Who knew that munching on fried pickles in a highly air-conditioned room was so outlandish? Well, here are some other highly entertaining Americanisms I've gathered. Let's count it down from number 21. Sales tax is a guessing game. When you go shopping in the U.S. and see a price tag that says $14.88, don't expect to pay $14.88 at the register. Sales tax is not included in the price of an item. And since this tax can vary from state to state, figuring out your total can turn into the ultimate mental math challenge. In many European countries, the sales tax is already included in the price. It's known as a value-added tax, or VAT.
I have to say, I mean, ours is pretty low compared to the rest of Europe. I know France is the same.
Yeah.
But the American tax, did you see in some of the states it was like 8%?
Yeah, but there's other taxes. It's like, it's just dawned on me that obviously we're one country with one tax.
Yeah.
But in the States, every different state has their own different taxes that they add. Some states have no state tax, some have other things. Like, that's probably why they do it, because a corporation would say, our product costs $9.99 across the whole of the states.
Yeah.
So it's marketed as that. But then it depends on what that state's particular nuanced sort of taxes are. So it actually makes sense to me now that they do it that way, because state by state are still in the same country, but they all have different tax bands. Does that make sense?
It does make sense, but it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense when you're a consumer going to buy something.
Yeah.
But I think on a lot of the price tags, it does say the pre and the post tax. I feel like I've looked at something and it's like $9 and then underneath it says $11 or something.
Interesting.
Let's let me know on that. I don't know.
Strange.
Number 20. We're total workaholics. A lot of Americans don't feel the need to take long vacations, so they often let vacation and sick hours pile up without ever using them. Plus, most employers only give you 2 weeks out of the year. But in a lot of other countries, like Brazil or Finland, workers are encouraged to take an average of 30 days of vacay. Wow, maybe I should take some time off. Or perhaps I'll just keep waiting.
I've heard this.
Yeah.
Because that's mental to me. Like, I would have a nervous breakdown.
If you just had 2 weeks a year.
Well, yeah, I get 29 days annual leave, and it's 25 plus the bank holidays. And we got an extra one this year because the King's coronation, so I think it's now 30 days. I'm trying to remember. But
I'm currently unemployed, so I get as much as I want. Bombshell.
Right. But 2 weeks. You can't even go away for that length of time. Like, one of the nurses I work with, she went back home to India for a month to see her family and things.
Yeah. I've never been able to have 2 concurrent weeks off just because of the nature of my job in the past.
Well,
so
that's
it's always
Same.
been a week and then I've got to go back.
I mean, I suppose that's been the same for me, but I have lots of like individual weeks or days off in a year, so I can just take a break.
Yeah.
You Americans are crazy.
19. It's not a party without red Solo cups. In the States, this red plastic cup is synonymous with "party on, dude." But other countries apparently don't recognize this cup to mean the same thing. People in the UK, for example, don't use red Solo cups at get-togethers. They have to go to a special website to purchase the cups for American-themed parties. Who knew?
Not anymore.
They actually sell them in Asda.
Yeah, they sell them now. It's become.
They're everywhere.
We're getting more and more American-style items over in the UK, which I'm very appreciative of. The American-style sweet shops and things.
They're so expensive.
And the restaurants as
Those
well.
big bags of Takis, Fuego, the standard ones.
Yeah.
I've seen them for £11 for one big bag.
I know, it's crazy. But it's the same as like then restaurants are opening up, like I told you about that one that was called Dough and Dogs. And it was an American style hot dog place, and they did like a slaw dog. And the one I absolutely always wanted to try because of Man vs. Food.
Raw dog?
No, the Monte Cristo. Don't be so rude. The Monte Cristo, which is peanut butter and jam with the hot dog in the middle. And do you know what? It was really good. Really good.
Number 18. Deep fried everything.
Scotland.
Whether it's fried pickles or even fried Oreos, America has it all. Fried fish recipes first appeared in Spanish and Portuguese cookbooks as far back as the 1200s, and the Greeks were frying food in olive oil way back in the 5th century BCE. But as America does with many things, they've adopted a tradition from far-off lands and took it up a notch, or 5. 17. Get everything you need right at the pharmacy.
Sorry, we keep pausing. It's so interesting. It's so quick. But you're right. Scotland does fry pretty much everything. And they get fried Mars bars. I don't know if the Americans get a Mars bar, which is like
Jesus.
caramel, like a gooey centre, and then the chocolate. And they also deep fry ice cream.
They do that over here. I've had it.
I can't imagine how you would do it. Do you just...
As long as it's done quickly in a batter, then it sort of melts and stays in there.
Interesting.
Yeah. We're not going to pause after every single one.
Yeah, sorry. It's me
And
being
also,
a chatterbox.
This video was made when it was still okay to drink Budweiser in America.
A lot of the comments have said to, like, just ignore people and just carry on drinking what
I
you
don't give a
want.
shit about politics. I couldn't care less.
If you're not from the U.S., it may be puzzling to walk into a pharmacy and see aisles and aisles of over-the-counter meds, toys, makeup, clothes, and even groceries. Unlike in other countries where pharmacies sell medicine and medical supplies exclusively, the ones in the U.S. are like small convenience stores where you can grab magazines, Tylenol, and a frozen pizza in one fell swoop. 16. Fill her up. In America, if a restaurant doesn't offer free refills on fountain drinks, it's kind of strange. But in other countries, once you buy one beverage, that's it.
Yeah.
France banned refills on sugary sodas back in 2017 in order to combat the current obesity epidemic. But in the U.S., the idea of free refills is still alive and well. 15. If you don't like it, return it. Whether it's an ugly sweater from grandma or a heinous pair of earrings from an ex, if you don't like it, you can just return it. In America, making returns at stores is pretty normal and super easy. I mean, the US even has a National Returns Day in January, conveniently held for you to return holiday gifts you weren't too thrilled about. 14. Tips for everyone. Cab drivers, servers, hairdressers, you gotta tip them. Tips are acceptable for almost any service in the U.S. and sometimes consist of 25% of the bill. We haven't started tipping surgeons yet, but there are places in other parts of the world, such as Japan, that consider tipping incredibly rude, like in restaurants. When you travel to different countries, it's important to learn their tipping etiquette so that you don't offend anyone. 13.
That's a massive debate, that one, isn't it?
It is. It's a huge debate because I know a lot of American service industry workers rely on the tips in order to survive.
Yeah, they get paid a shit wage in a lot of circumstances, and it is the tips that's, you know. But then on the other end of the spectrum, not the end of the spectrum, but on the other hand, the service industry is amazing in the States.
Because
they're
everyone's
literally
so
the friendliest people you'll ever meet because they want to be tipped. So over here, they get paid properly and don't really get tipped as much. I mean, wages
paid properly.
Well,
that's
no. There's a
national
wage.
minimum. Yeah.
But we do tip in restaurants and things like that. Not so much in bars. But the service is usually absolute dog shit because they're getting paid anyway.
I think we do tip
so
at bars.
It's like
the number of people, like I've worked throughout bars, whether it be a cocktail bar, a tennis club and things like that. And it was usually 20p here and there or a free drink. You know, someone would offer to buy me a drink.
Yeah.
And by the end of the night, sometimes I'd go home with an extra 20 quid, which as a student was amazing. Like those 20p's added up. That bought me dinner for the week.
I only tip in a bar over here if there's X amount of change left and I say keep the change. You know, that I'm more comfortable doing that. But in a restaurant, I always tip. Like,
yeah, you do, yeah.
I feel bad not doing it.
I tip if I can afford it. That's the truth. So as a student, I never tipped. But
I just always go 10%. Unless it's shit service, and then I don't tip. But, yeah.
I'll take my coffee to go. With a Starbucks on every corner, it's very normal to see people toting around a coffee as they shop, commute to work, and whatever else at all times of the day. But in many parts of the world, coffee is meant to be sipped on while seated and enjoying the paper or chatting with friends. Tugging your coffee along with you throughout the day might be due to the fact that the cups are huge and take longer to drink. Who's got that kind of time to be sitting in a cafe for hours? Sounds like fun to me. Number 12. The land of ice-cold drinks. Now, speaking of drinks, if it's not a hot coffee or cocoa, then it's probably got ice in it. Tea, coffee, lemonade, soda, water. Americans like it on the rocks. If you go elsewhere in the world, odds are you'll be sipping your soda at room temperature, or maybe slightly refrigerated if you don't specifically ask for ice. Number 11. Keeping the AC on at all times. Americans must have an aversion to being hot. In many parts of Europe, people simply don't use air conditioning as much as they do in the States. Here, it's expected to always have the AC blaring, and a lot of visitors find it pretty strange and quite chilly. But come on, it makes sense. If you're cold, you can layer up. If you're hot, all you can do is suffer and complain about it. No.
They're not wrong, but even like in Africa, we didn't have air conditioning. It was fans and opening the window.
Yeah.
Like ceiling fans.
I don't like aircon. It makes my throat feel weird after a while. And we've got it at the office and in the studio with the Office Blokes, and it just feels like just cold breeze on the back of my neck, you know, the whole time I'm sat there, and I hate it. I'd rather be warm. I'd rather sit there sweating. We
have it on the ward and stuff because of the patients, so I see to ensure we're keeping them comfortable. And you can see like the nurses and things, and obviously the ward staff get really irritated, and you'll see them like pull up their collars and stuff. Yeah.
It's just uncomfortable for me. In hotel rooms, I always switch it off.
I turn it like the temperature up in hotel rooms.
I just don't like that purified air that it spits out.
Makes sense. But I felt like that with the heating. Like every time it comes on every year, that smell when it restarts, it's like heating.
Yeah.
Number 10. Looking at dollars is a snooze fest. I remember going to Europe for the first time and thinking their banknotes looked like Monopoly money. And I guess a lot of countries have bills of different colors and sizes depending on the value, like Swedish krona and Russian rubles. But not in the US. It's all greenbacks, baby. Sure, 10s look a little yellowy, 50s are kind of pinkish, and Benjamins seem bluer than the others. But still, US dollars definitely aren't as fun and rainbowy as other currencies. Number 9. Giving a thumbs up. In America, even little kids know a thumbs up means good job, way to go, or anything positive like that. But if you travel to Greece or the Middle East and give this common American gesture, you probably won't make too many friends. Hey, how about giving this video a thumbs up for the useful tip? Number 8. The date writing conundrum. So many visitors to the U.S. get really confused by the month-day-year thing, because most parts of the world write the day, then the month, then finally the year. There's no clear historical reason why the U.S. insists on writing the day differently, but we just do.
Going back to that, I've gotten used to it over the years because I work in clinical research, so obviously international work, and a lot of our labs are in the States. The other thing is, the Americans have a different size A4 sheet of paper.
Really?
It's a different dimensions.
The standard printer paper in this country is A4.
Is A4, and every country that I've had to deal with have the same as us. The Americans, their A4 is wider and shorter, but they class it as an A4.
Are you sure you've not just got it on its side?
I'm being serious. The way it prints out, and every time I get sent like requisitions and forms and things from obviously the American companies, it's like I can't fit them in my plastic wallets. I have to fold the sides to get them in. It's so weird. It's so different.
The date one baffles me. And like when we did this with the Office Blokes a couple of years ago, there's people in the comment section that will fight to the death over the fact that month, day, year makes more sense. And I've never heard anyone rationalise it in a way that I agree with.
The day is the smaller number to the month to the year. Why? It doesn't make sense. But because of it, in clinical research, we have to use the first 3 letters of the month so that it doesn't get confused across the board.
Yeah. Well, that's it. I mean, the way we do dates, 9/11, which obviously is like, all you have to do is say those numbers and everyone knows exactly what it is.
But
would be 11/9.
11/9, yeah.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Number 7. Prebaby baby showers. Many cultures celebrate a new baby coming into the world, but America is one of the few places that does this before the baby actually gets here. In East Asian countries, for instance, celebrations for a new baby are held once the baby is born, as doing otherwise is seen as bad luck.
I agree with that.
Number 6, where "how are you" means hello. Sure, people ask each other how they're doing in other countries, but Americans often use this phrase as a replacement for hey or hello. It doesn't even require a real response. People just answer with "fine, thanks," even if they're in a horrible mood or had a terrible day. Number 5.
I do that, but I say all right to everyone,
right.
which comes from "are you all right?"
Yeah.
But I'm not asking if you're all right.
No.
I'm just going, all right?
I don't think that's as isolated to Americans as you think. It's like in Australia, the thing I got confused about was you go hi and they go how you going, and to me that's how are you, and I'd be like, oh, I'm fine, and they'd already walk past. I was like, oh, you just mean hi. And then like here you're like hiya, how's it, you know?
No one says how's it.
Oh, that's a Zimbabwean thing.
Yeah.
So
No,
we say how's
right.
it, you know, how's it going, but it means hiya, hi.
I say all right for everything. It can mean all right, or it can be all right. It can literally anything, just
That's
all right.
very northern.
Yeah. The kids, what time we're going to bed? All right.
5. Bathroom stalls that aren't so private. Don't like doing your business in front of complete strangers? Americans don't either, of course, but the fact that bathroom stall doors often reveal as much as your entire lower leg seems to say otherwise. There's no clear reason as to why there's this big gap in public bathroom stalls here, but many guess it's for safety reasons or ventilation. Just saying. Number 4. no one uses their inside voice. A lot of my friends who are visiting or moved to the U.S. tell me that locals speak so loud compared to other countries. Whether it's talking on your cell phone or chatting with a friend over lunch, Americans seem to really like projecting their voice. I don't know. Maybe we just want to make sure we're heard.
That's what you said about the Zimbabweans, and the number of people that said to me, "You guys don't have inside voices," and it's like,
absolutely.
No.
Like when I've met some of your family and stuff, you all just shout at each other in such a matter-of-fact, stern way. So it's not a conversation. You're all just shouting at each other.
It's like I tried to explain to Dave, like us talking over each other is the culture. Like we do that. It's just about, how quickly you can get in on the conversation and how loud. And like the number of people like, "Why are you shouting at me?" I was like, "I'm not shouting. I'm talking." It's just our culture.
When I was in Canada years ago, one of the times we went skidooing, like the snowmobile.
Oh.
We did snowmobiling, and there was this guy he was Texan, and it was him and his wife, and they couldn't be more Texan. It was like thick snow, cowboy hat on,
nice
lumberjack shirt. He was overweight, but I think he was like oil Texan. He was like money Texan.
Nice.
But so unbelievably loud, and everything he said was for the benefit of everyone that was stood there. It was not him talking to his wife. Everyone needed to know what the conversation was about. And they were ahead of us going over this trail, and we heard a bang, and then you heard loads of shouting and stuff, and then his wife was shouting as well. And like she wasn't as gregarious as him. They'd hit a bridge and gone over the side of the bridge into a stream. And it was like, it's frozen, it's minus proper degrees.
Jeez.
And like him and his wife were in this stream absolutely soaking. He's going mad, she's going mad at him.
Oh dear.
But he was just so loud because we were so used to him being so loud, but then they were even louder.
But you know what? I think that this comes from the British side, because I noticed this. The British are very quiet. Like this British stoicism thing Stoicism is a thing in the British culture. You guys are very soft-spoken. You're not very outspoken. You don't interrupt people. Whereas like me, I'm like, I just interrupt and I'm loud.
I tried to interrupt you then, but I backed out. But how do you think us as a little tiny island took over the world?
Quietly.
We didn't do it by shouting about it. We did it by sitting there and watching everyone, paying attention.
All right.
Figuring it out.
We won't get into like how naughty it was and what you guys did taking over the world, but anyway.
Someone's got to do it.
Number 3. It's all about choices. Walk into any grocery store aisle and you'll notice at least 10 different options for cookies, crackers, or cereal. People in the UK don't have these many options for food, and you'll almost never find anything in grape flavor there. Number 2. Hopping into the...
You can buy Merlot grape juice in quite a lot of supermarkets. And the reason the grape isn't called Merlot, but it's the grape that they use to make Merlot the wine.
Oh, okay.
And the reason I know that is because people make turbo wine out of it.
Nice.
So they buy a bottle of Merlot grape juice, they fill it with, put loads of sugar in it, they put yeast in it, and then over a few days it ferments, and then the yeast dies off. They decant it into something else, and you've literally made turbo wine.
Nice.
In like days or a week or whatever it takes. So we do have grape juice, but I think it's huge in the States, isn't it?
It is. They've got like grape sweets and things like that. Like we tried that grape salt taffy.
Saltwater taffy. Yeah, it was horrible, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was weird.
The back seat of a cab. When getting into a cab, it's customary in the States to scoot on into the back seat. But in countries like New Zealand and Australia, riding anywhere but shotgun can be a little rude.
I always get in the back.
Number 1.
Do you?
That classic American smile.
See, I always got in the front, unless now since COVID I don't, because obviously they've put shields and barriers and it was about social distancing, so I've gotten used to getting in the back. But I always got in the front.
I don't want to talk. The amount of times most of the time if I get a taxi I'm drunk, because otherwise I'd be driving. So I've been at the pub all afternoon. And
Really?
Yeah. And then I've always got headphones on me. And the amount of times I've been sat in the back of a taxi and the driver just won't stop talking. And I'm like, I'll keep on to taking an earphone out being like, what was that, mate? All right, okay.
I've had some amazing conversations with
I've had good conversations with taxi drivers.
I love the taxi drivers.
I just like to get my head down and get on with it. I don't like being in a taxi. I don't like getting my hair cut That's why I want that done in silence, because I hate it.
I love my haircut. I love the conversations.
No.
It's like when I go for my wax or my beauty treatments, it's just lovely conversations. It's just interesting. People are interesting.
In the US, people aren't afraid to be nice and show their pearly whites all the time. And according to a 2015 study at Brown University, because America has always been a very diverse country, it forced people to smile at each other more since they couldn't always communicate with language. That's just one more historical theory as to why Americans tend to smile more than people in other places do. Or maybe we're just, friendlier. Whether you're from the US or not, can you add any more strange Americanisms to the list? Let me know down in the comments. If you learned something new today, then give this video a like, share it with a friend, and here are some more cool videos to...
I just shared it with a friend.
You did. And we made a 10-minute video into 25 minutes. Apologies, everybody.
It's what we do.
It is.
We were trying to be quick tonight, weren't we?
I
Because
know.
it's late. We've been watching Bake Off.
I know.
That last one, I can't see how that's true.
No.
Because
It's not. It's just a cultural thing. I don't think the research... I'm not disregarding research. I'm a research scientist, but that's probably like a few people's idea. It's not...
the UK is massively diverse and no one
hugely.
smiles.
No. Well, the North does. Like I said to you when I first moved here, and I really noticed the difference of why people talk about the North and the South divide. I found that the Northerners were a lot more smiley. People do smile.
For the most part,
Yeah.
like, yes, if you're having a conversation or whatever,
Yeah.
but we don't walk down the street smiling at each other.
No.
If you, like where I live, people do, and that's what I like that. But the vast majority of places, people just
I think it's
their
the
heads down.
dental care.
They're showing off the great teeth that they've got.
Well, it's in every American film or program I've seen, the Americans have such beautiful white straight teeth.
They're all actors.
No, I know that. But even Americans I've met have amazing teeth.
Yeah.
Whereas the rest of the world don't. I mean, especially not in Britain, and it's so hard to get a dentist.
Yeah, but we get free dentistry and orthodontics till we're 18. It's just you can't get in.
No.
You're lucky if you get.
That's what I mean. You can't
orthodontist.
get a dentist. That's what I said.
Yeah.
So
But yeah, I'm not sure about that last one. Any that surprised you on there?
no, I think I knew quite a few of them. But
Toilet
there was
stall?
The toilet stalls definitely surprised me. That's weird. Like, who are you peeping on? Because if it was to do with safety, we have like the reversible lock on the other side.
They must have that.
They must do that, because that doesn't make sense. You pull something out from underneath the stall, whereas for us, like especially on the ward, we have like special little like keys that go in the other side of the lock. So if the alarm goes, we rush in to check on the patient. It doesn't. I think you guys are peeping.
I don't know about that one. Who knows? But yeah, interesting.
Yeah,
Good video.
definitely.
Nice. Right then, if you enjoyed it, make sure you subscribe to the channel. It does mean the world. Comment below what you want to see us react to.
Yes.
And yeah, we'll see you soon.
Bye.